Greetings. I hope this finds you well in both heart and mind, and welcome to Korea. I am presently in Seoul for a late spring sojourn, and I've had a lovely time thus far reuniting with friends and family, though quite some time has passed since my last video diary entry. When we last met, I was nearing the end of my academic semester and final exams, and in the weeks that followed, I sought rest, though I am happy to be here now with a renewed sense of clarity and to invite you all into a few of my days here. This marks my second time to visit Korea, and I've already been greeted by a wealth of beauty and gladness, the sort that I suppose lingers beneath daily life. Today, I will be visiting the Korean Stone Art Museum, which features a survey of Korean sculptural heritage. So, let's go. The collection of stone works here spans multiple dynasties and historical periods. The museum features various types of ceremonial and protective stone figures, including tomb guardians, village protectors, and ritual attendants that reflect Korea's cultural traditions. As well, the collection includes pieces repatriated from Japan, therein revealing its efforts to preserve Korean heritage. The museum proved to be an utter delight. I'm so pleased I could come here, especially on such a beautiful day, as the museum is primarily outdoors, though they did have a small indoor exhibition as well. I saw on the map that there's a temple nearby, so I'm going to go try to find it before I leave this neighborhood. I'm going to explore a few bookshops in Seoul, two of which are near the Gyeongbokgung Palace, so I'm taking a bit of a detour to explore the grounds now. I think that one of the quieter challenges of living abroad is having limited access to physical copies of books in your heart language. So today I'm on somewhat of a mission to seek out titles to bring back with me for Taehoon. So the first bookshop I'm going to is called Bone Books, or Bone Bookstore, I'm not exactly sure, but it's nestled on top of a cafe, so I'm not expecting it to have a large selection, but we will see. So I just left the second bookshop, and initially I hadn't planned on visiting this bookshop as there was a different one in the area, but it was closed, and so I looked up other bookshops nearby and found this one on the whim, and I'm so glad I did, as it was such a serene experience, rather lovely. I didn't film so much, as the moment I walked in, I was greeted by a very kind worker who generously explained all about the bookstore, the owners, and also they have apparently a book club of about 140 people. So hopefully whenever I return to Korea, my Korean will be strong enough to where I can join them as well. They decided to have their shop in this Hanok neighborhood as they're rather appreciative of Korean literature, and they wanted the building to exude the spirit of what they care about. They also let me climb onto the roof of the hanok, and it was so beautiful. I could see rows of hanoks as well as the mountains in the distance, and it was such a good experience. It was perhaps my favorite bookshop experience thus far in Korea. So yeah, I'm glad I was able to take the road I hadn't planned on to come here. So the next bookshop I'm going to is called Uormind, and I believe they specialize in independent books as well as art books. I have returned from book shopping, so I'm going to do a bit of a book haul. I want to preface this by saying that some of these books I got in Gwangju at a small bookshop there. I believe their Instagram is called Girls Bookshop, but I will add the name somewhere here. The space is very cozy there, and they have a grand selection of books considering issues of humanities, society, art, and so on. As well, the shop worker that I met there recommended so many intriguing titles, so I highly recommend you check them out if you are visiting Gwangju. So first, I got these bookmarks. This one has lovely bow detailing on it, and I found this at a shop in Busan, and I thought it was rather feminine and beautiful. And this next one has an intriguing face on it, so naturally I had to get it, and I found it at a bookshop today. So now into the books. I've read this one. This is called Whale, I suppose in English, and as I've read it, it is English translation friendly, and it is a bold satirical epic that follows three unconventional women navigating industrial change, I suppose, in post-war Korea. And it blends myth, absurdism, and social realism to kind of offer a surreal picture of ambition, survival, and transformation. If you're intrigued by contemporary Korean literature, I would recommend this one as it's very unique, and it was an interesting read. The next book I got from the small shop in Gwangju, and it's called Dictee, I believe, and I think that this has an English translation as well, as perhaps the author spent significant time residing in the USA, though I picked this one up as it is known for how it connects personal displacement with Korean colonial trauma, and the worker as well recommended it to me, so we'll see. This next book, I believe the translated title would be Didi's Umbrella, and it traces family building in the aftermath of the Candlelight Revolution in Korea. This next book I don't think has an English translation, and I think that it's the author's debut short story collection. From what I know, it introduces a raw and unsentimental portrait of love that sort of favors feeling over moral clarity. This next one that I got is Strangers by Camus, which I've read this, though this is the Korean translated version. And I think it's just a great short classic which confronts the perceived absurdities of life and limits of rational meaning, I suppose. And yeah, Taehoon hasn't read it yet, so he's in for a treat. I also got poetry collection of Hauge, who was a Norwegian poet and horticulturalist. I believe he's known for his spare meditative verse rooted in the natural landscapes of Western Norway, and also I think he's deeply influenced by Norse culture and tradition, as well as Chinese and German poetry, perhaps. I was talking to a bookshop owner who recommended this as well, so I think that Taehoon and I will both enjoy it, as we rather like poets who consider the landscapes local to them. I also got Lispector's debut novel, Near to the Wild Heart, translated in Korean. This is a lyrical, introspective novel which considers a woman's inner life through fragmented stream of consciousness style prose. This next one is actually wrapped in the sort of Gwangju specialty book covering, which is made by local artists there, so you cannot see the title of it, but I can add it, of course. I don't think there is an English translated version of it. And this book I found quite interesting whenever I heard the synopsis. I believe this story reflects on the rhythms and absurdities of corporate and startup life in contemporary Korea, and from what I know, it's largely informed by the author's experience. This last book is primarily for me, though I think that Taehoon will likewise enjoy it. It is a photo book that I've been searching for quite a while now. I wasn't able to find it in the USA, and I rather randomly came across it in a photo bookshop, a very small photo bookshop, and it was the last copy, and I was incredibly thankful that my eyes found it. It is a photography exploration of the Simmani, I believe, which are ginseng gatherers in the mountains of Ulleungdo in this case, and in this book, Lee captures both the landscapes these solitary figures inhabit and the spiritual dimension of their ancient practice. The series functions as both documentary and meditation, where Lee's soft, atmospheric photographs blur the boundaries between the tangible reality of island life and the more elusive qualities of time, labor, and human endurance. So that concludes my book haul for Korea. I want to say thus far, though, I don't really think I should get any more books, as I'm not sure my suitcase can handle it. We will see. Since coming abroad, I've rather taken to audiobooks, especially on the Seoul Metro, and recently I finished Murakami's After the Quake. Previously, I had read his Norwegian Wood and found it rather troubling, primarily its portrayal of women. I thought that the female characters seemed to exist primarily to serve the male protagonist, and I also thought they lacked depth and autonomy, but a friend convinced me to keep reading Murakami when I kind of thought I never would again, and I'm glad I gave him another go. After the Quake was a different experience for me, and I thought it was an intriguing story. While the disaster serves as a backdrop, the narrative considers the personal and emotional upheavals of the characters, and there are themes of loss, isolation, and a search for connection throughout the book. I think that the female characters in these stories, while still constructed through Murakami's lens, didn't leave me feeling with a sense of grief. So yeah, I have a few more Murakami books on my Goodreads list of possibilities I could read, though I'm not sure if I'll continue with him. We will see. I'm in Suwon for an early evening jaunt. I find that walled cities are rather beautiful when the light is soft and the atmosphere feels a bit more settled. I don't have so much of a plan, so I think I'll just walk around and take in the surroundings. I first decided to stop by a cafe to enjoy a latte and read for a while. At the moment, I'm reading Mild Vertigo by Miyako Kanai. It is a quietly disorienting novel that traces the rhythms of everyday domestic life. Presently, I am drawn in by its subtle observations and layered reflections on routine, memory, and interiority, which are both strange and familiar. Afterward, I wandered through a few shops on the way back to the Hwaseong fortress. I am walking now to catch the bus back to Seoul. Thank you all for being here in Korea with me, and until next time.